One thing that I found that is really common when it comes to people who get into the event industry, specifically venue owners and managers, is they have very servant-hearted attitudes. They love to host. They love to figure out how they can serve guests. But one thing that they often feel uncomfortable with is this idea of having to sell. And when that happens and they feel unconfident, they end up sabotaging themselves in that sales tour process. But what I love to encourage venue owners and managers, don't have to be an outgoing salesperson in order to do incredibly well at selling your venue. In fact, I often argue that introverts end up being better sales individuals than very extroverted people. Why? Because when you aren't quite as hyped up to share everything that's on your mind with all of the people around, you're more likely to be quiet and let the prospect client do more of the talking. This gives you the opportunity for them to share what they truly want, and it keeps the sales representative from completely overwhelming the appointment. Now, here's a real life example. Myself, right out of college. I'm in my first job, which ended up being a cold call sales role. Well, I'm normally a very outgoing individual. My new boss had completely scared the life out of me. He was going to have to downsize, and I would be the first person to end up getting let go. Now, please understand, I do not recommend this tactic on your employees. I was, of course, terrified. I went in my car, took 20 minutes to cry, and then I proceeded to do my best to get myself together, head to the next sales presentation on my list. For the next several weeks, I was absolutely riddled with anxiety. I would often find myself doing breathing exercises in my car before I even walked into the appointment. What's interesting is something happened. When I was in a meeting and I was feeling that swell of anxiety that just happens in your chest, it ended up keeping me from rambling. So I wasn't just spewing all of these facts and information at the prospect client. And as a tool to actually get my anxiety to calm down for a minute, I would end up asking them a question. Because when I would ask them a question, it allowed me to take the breather and collect my thoughts. And what it also ended up doing is it allowed the prospect client to do the talking instead. And interestingly enough, their answers often revealed things to me that I normally would have never known. It gave me insight into what their needs actually were. So about after a month of what I considered complete suffering in sales and tons of cold walk-ins to businesses all over this community that I wasn't super familiar with, I had taken this business from 0 clients in the previous month to 40 new clients in just 30 days. Now, if you're wondering, did I become this amazingly confident and talkative sales rep after that? No, I did not. But after several more months, those new clients walking through the door, it did allow my boss to hire versus making the layoffs that he threatened with. And about a year later, he ended up busy enough that he had to move buildings. My time in that role taught me so much. And it was a very, very unlikely launching point into a sales career. So the next time that you or your sales employee feel that pressure or the stress of a sales tour, I encourage you to just sit back, take a breather, arm yourself with a list of questions, and get your potential client talking. I can promise you, you will be pleasantly shocked at the results. If you'd like more sales tips like this on how to make your venue more money, feel free to follow me.